Hello and welcome to the Homeless Consultants channel. My name is Paul B. I am the Homeless Consultant. This is just a quick follow-up video to let you know what happened since my last video, which was my stalker of the day, 5 in the morning stalker. Between then and now, which is just before it starts getting dark on Sunday, Resurrection Day, Easter Day. So after I posted that, oh, and one other thing, I'm also going to use this video as a lead-in for my next video, which is a rather big project that I think you'll find interesting, and I hope government officials will find enlightening. So what happened was, after I put on the video of the stalker, I couldn't really... There was nowhere to go. The traffic was so heavy on Saturday. It was just like any other Saturday, which is genuinely strange because the mall isn't open, the shopping stores aren't open except for the ones that are based in Minnesota. Don't know how much they had to pay for that, but Target, Best Buy, Cub Foods, they're all open. They're all based in the state of Minnesota. My company's based in another state. I'm not allowed to work. You see how that works, right? Best Buy is essential, because if you don't purchase a large television set and then go to the liquor store across the street, whatever. Those are essential businesses, according to Governor Tim Walz, you see. There was so much traffic, I didn't know where to go. I did not want to be in that traffic. I told you about how they're driving like maniacs already. No reason to beat that horse anymore. The big thing was, though, the National Weather Service had been talking about a late winter storm, and it looked like it was going to be a doozy, right? So they're saying... First they're saying 3 to 6 inches, then they're saying 4 to 6 inches, then 4 to 8 inches. They were saying it's going to be very wet, heavy snow, and because of that it could, cause power lines to fall down. I mean, the more I heard about it, the more it started to sound like this cataclysmic, the sky is falling, oh my gosh, we're all going to die kind of winter storm. Well, I don't want to get caught out in that. I've got enough problems, as you can see in these videos, like the stalking video. The last thing I need is to be immobilized by snow, get buried in snow, like if you watch my Thanksgiving video, what happened? Buried alive. The whole car just goes dark as I get buried alive in the snow. Also, being homeless, if most of the snowplows will in some way... And again, I don't think they're necessarily deliberately trying to mess with me. They got work to do. But the thing is, if you're in the lot and you're in the car and you don't move, then they give you the business. And I think they would do that for a house person too, who did that. It's just that homeless people are the ones who do it because we have nowhere to go. And there have been nights where I've had to just keep driving the car, literally just driving it on the worst road conditions imaginable, because I can't stop anywhere. Every single parking lot has plows in it. And for hours, there's nothing you can do. So when it snows, it's really, really bad. Now, given what the National Weather Service was predicting here, I decided to drive the 20 miles or so to my workplace so I could stay in the underground garage where I am now. So I drove all the way out here. It was a nightmare, scary, terrifying drive out here, the way these people drive. I got these lights up here if my hands look orange for some reason. I'm trying to get light in here for you. And I pull in, and again, this was about, I don't know, maybe 11:30 a.m. Saturday, April 11th, the day before, well, Easter, most people call it, Resurrection Day, right? A holiday. During a stay-at-home order, and our business park, our big building with all the offices in it, they're all considered non-essential businesses. Nobody should be working. So I pull in, and the parking lot has a whole bunch of cars in it. Alright, so I took video, and I took out each of the cars and put them in this slide for you. There were a total of 10 cars in the parking lot. Now, I normally work Saturdays, so when I work on Saturdays, our people normally would be there, at least before they started working at home. And then there's a certain number of other people in these other businesses who are there on Saturdays. The total number of others who are there on Saturdays is about 10. We absolutely dominate this building on Saturday and Sunday because we're the only ones that are really there at all. In other words, during the stay-at-home order, the day before a holiday on a Sunday, no, yesterday was a Saturday, there was no difference between that and any other day. Those people are still there working, disobeying the stay-at-home order. Meanwhile, because my company's from out of state, they have told us that we have to obey this order. See, the Minnesotans don't have to. Cub Foods, Best Buy, Target, based in Minnesota, they get to work. They get to be open. My business, based in another state, says no. We're gonna obey this. Well, albeit stupid law, but if that's what they're saying, we're gonna obey it. Otherwise, I could just walk a couple hundred feet from here, sit down in my cube, and start working and earning money in an office that is completely empty and has been empty for about 3 weeks. Not a single soul has been in that room in 3 weeks. But thanks to Governor Tim Walz, I'm not allowed to just walk in there and work and earn a living, while all of my coworkers are working from home, earning a living. But these other people in these other non-essential businesses, they're here. In addition to the 10 cars up top, there were 3 cars down in the underground parking garage. And throughout the day, cars came and went as they always do. I didn't see anything different from an ordinary Saturday, except nobody from our business was here. Otherwise, couldn't tell it apart. When they finally left toward the end of the afternoon, I settled down, my usual spot, kind of, in a good position in here, and I start trying to get to work. I start working on the drum set. I have a little guitar that I've been trying to refinish for the longest time, but to put the clear coat on, I need a temperature that's above 50. This happened to be one of those days, probably the last day for a while. So I was in the garage, I'd walked the thing over to the far end of the garage, and I sprayed a few coats of the clear coat on the guitar. And I left it sitting there to dry. Well, this car pulls in. What time was it? It was about 7:30 at night. This little black clown car, one of those little scrunched up SUV things, comes rolling in here. They pull in. They kind of see my car there, and then they make a left turn against the wall, and they just sit there facing the wall for about 2 or 3 minutes with the engine running. Then they back out and they leave. And I don't recognize them. I'm like, well, what the heck was that? And I see them drive out and hit the road. So I go back to my stuff. About 10, 15 minutes later, that car comes back in. But this time it comes in, it makes a beeline almost even with where I'm at, but at the other end, pulls against the wall and parks. A man and a woman get out of the car. The woman is holding a gigantic SLR camera, single lens reflex camera. That's the ones with those big lenses that you can zoom in and, if you're at the airport, you can film a jet aircraft and see all the detail, telephoto lens. They immediately start walking over here to basically right in front of where I'm at. Now, on that side, there's light because there's a fence blocking. I've got the wall. That side has the fence to the outside. The woman faces me with this big, huge camera. The guy starts doing this kind of bouncing around, just no purpose walking thing. She's sitting there snapping photos, and with a lens like that, she could be filming my nostril hairs, even in this light, if she's a good photographer. I did see her taking some pictures of this guy because they were facing other directions, but it seems a little weird. Pull straight in, walk straight over there, immediately point the camera toward somewhat in my direction, and eventually slide it over in my direction. Pretend to be filming this guy in the worst lighting conditions imaginable. Remember, I'm a photographer. This is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. Nobody's taking glamour shots of this guy in a dark, dungy, at night, underground parking garage with no lighting to speak of. I mean, look what I have to do. I have to run my lights in the car just so you can see my face. These people creep me out. Sorry about that, I had to plug in the camera. So I take the guitar, which is still a bit wet, I cradle as much as I can in some paper, I put it in my trunk, and I drive out here into the outer parking lot. I take the guitar out, I put it on the curb, on some paper to dry. The problem is, one reason I wanted to be in here was so that there isn't dust blowing. It was pretty windy. In fact, it got quite windy at some points. I didn't want dust blowing because it sticks to the clear coat. You see, being able to do it in a parking garage, I've got the airflow to get the smell out of here and to help it dry, but it's not blowing all this dust around to stick to the clear coat. But I had to do that because I've got some creepy people being in a business park they shouldn't be in during a stay-at-home order at a business park that's closed on a Saturday before Easter. Seems to me that they're disobeying the stay-at-home order. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's an essential function. People taking pictures of young men inside of a parking garage. I don't know. Maybe I haven't read the fine print on Tim Waltz's order. Maybe that's there. Well, I'm not allowed to work for a living. Either that or they're just blatantly violating the stay-at-home order like everybody else is. So I tried to get back to work out there working on some stuff, and it didn't take too terribly long before these people left. So I'm like, alright. So I pick up the guitar again, I pack it up, I drive in here again, I go put the guitar back where it was before to keep drying. Just ridiculous, right? Now, as it turns out, the overnight was actually pretty good. To my knowledge, nobody messed with me. I actually got some sleep. It went well. I woke up early, about 5:30 in the morning. The first car rolled into this business park, and remember, this was Easter Sunday, Resurrection Day. Easter Sunday. 6:30 a.m. is when the first car came in to start doing some work. And they kept coming. Not in droves, about every half hour. Another car coming in, and eventually you'd have one leaving once in a while. But, in other words, that's exactly like any other Sunday. Remember, I work Saturdays and Sundays, so I know what goes on here normally with these other businesses. So even on Easter, nothing changes. 6:30 in the morning, these people are already coming in here. During the stay-at-home order, in a business that is considered non-essential. They're violating the order. Meanwhile, I'm not allowed to just walk in to my office there, which is empty, and earn a living on the day that I'm normally scheduled to work. And get holiday pay, by the way, which is what I would have gotten. In fact, April has 5 paychecks, not 4, 5. So I lose that as well because of this. Now, because of this big snowstorm that was coming, it was supposed to start about midday. So I got my camera all charged up. I got enough room on the chip. I mounted it on a tripod, and I even wrapped the orange emergency jacket I have. I wrapped it around the tripod, and I found a good location. Not the best view in the world, not a gorgeous view, but it's all I've got to work with, because anywhere else the snow would blow and hit the lens and get it wet. So I set it up to do a long time lapse, right? So every 2 hours would record 1 minute of video. Because I wanted to see this buildup of this, 6, 8, and by that time they were saying 10 to 12 inches of snow. So I wanted to, it would show this rapid buildup of the snow, and it's probably the last time this year I can do it. It's going to be summer after that. So I get that up there, I wire it through the car to power it. This window doesn't open, so I had to actually take a chance of snapping the wire by closing this door on the power cable. So the power cable has a big crimp in it now. And I just let the video run. About an hour later, the snow finally starts. It looks pretty heavy and all that. But I'm going to show you right now exactly what happened there. Alright? So just watch this, and the sound you're going to hear behind it is the weather report at the end of this period, at the end of this video.
By early this evening, those areas that had a persistent band of heavy snowfall will likely receive between 4 to 6 inches, with locally higher amounts. In the warned area, snowfall amounts in the 6 to 9-inch range will be common, with localized 10 to 12 inches possible once the snow ends. In addition, the heavy wet snow may cause some tree damage and power outages due to the combination of gusty winds and the heavy wet snow. Now the forecast for the Twin Cities metropolitan area tonight. Snow in the evening, then clearing overnight. Snow accumulation around 1 inch. Storm total snow accumulation of 4 to 8 inches. Lows in the mid-20s. Northwest winds.
Okay, now the reason I wanted you to watch that was because this winter storm that the National Weather Service had predicted, the one that made me change my behavior, I had to find a safe place to hide from the storm, to hide from the snow plows. I drove 20 miles to get in this garage so that I could not get, buried alive in the snow where I can't get out safely. The National Weather Report prediction of that snowstorm was based on computer models. But what did you see? Did you see the accumulation of 6, 8, 10, 12 inches of snow? Did you see power lines collapsing, sparks flying, the end of the world? Oh my God, we're all going to die. Did you see that? When you heard the weather report there at the end of this, they kind of changed their tune, didn't they? Because yesterday and this morning, they were just talking about how there's going to be big, heavy snow, wet. Inches and inches and inches, 1 to 2 inches an hour of snow. And what do we get? Build up about a half an inch of snow, if that, stop snowing, and then within minutes it just melted away. Computer models. In case you weren't aware, Governor Tim Walz's stay-at-home order is based on his faith as a leader. He is following the experts. See, that's what he's doing as a leader. He's following what the experts say, and the experts are saying what they say based on computer models. And the models they have don't even come close to the quality of the models that the National Weather Service has. And look how good the ones the National Weather Service are. I told you this was going to be a precursor to my next video. I'm writing something up here. My next video, once again, the homeless guy is going to do somebody else's job for them without getting paid a dime. For the sake of these government officials who keep putting their religious faith in this cult of science, and that is exactly why I can't walk 100 feet into my office and work, is because of their religious faith in these scientists. I am going to produce a video where I explain what a computer model is, generally speaking, how it works, and once you hear just that little itty-bitty introduction to it, you're going to see for yourself why I'm so angry about the stay-at-home order. You're going to see for yourself why a computer model is a really, really bad reason to shut down an entire economy and destroy human lives. I would have preferred that Governor Walz had done some research to figure this out himself. It doesn't take that long. Apparently he didn't do it. So I'm going to put together this video, and the homeless guy, once again, is going to teach the authorities who collect all of the pay for doing this stuff. He's the leader. The Star Tribune keeps praising his leadership. You know, what's interesting is it was either the Star Tribune or the Pioneer Press. I'm pretty sure Star Tribune at a gas station. I'm not going to buy one of these things ever, but it said, Waltz, releases documentation why he's doing this. And then he also says, well, I'm doing what the federal government recommends, the CDC recommends. So basically this leader, while the Star Tribune keeps praising his leadership, His reasons for doing what he's doing is because A, the experts told me to do it. So the leader is following what unelected people are telling him to do, which is not really leadership in my opinion. Number two, his other reasoning for doing it is because everybody's doing it. The federal government's doing it. Other states are doing it. CDC's doing it. Those are his two reasons for destroying all these lives, including mine. A religious faith in experts who have no credibility if you've actually watched what they've done over the last several decades, and everybody else is doing it. Watch for my next video, folks. I'm going to teach you what a computer model is. I'm going to explain this cryptic statement I keep making in some of my videos where I tell you when I was a little kid, I could program a computer model. And I'm telling you right now, you can make a computer model say anything. You can make it say nothing. But to make it do the right thing is really, really difficult. And they don't have what they need to make that happen. So that's what I've been going through. Oh, and by the way, I guess one other thing. When I went to take the camera down, a big white pickup truck pulled in out there outside where this thing was filming. In there, it pulled in and to the right a bit, so it probably wouldn't have been on camera anyway, but I'd already packed up the camera. The thing sat there, it backed up so that it's basically blocking the exit from the parking garage and just sat there. Just basically beeline straight to me. You know, not for a horrible long time, but maybe 20 seconds or something, and then it slowly pulls out and goes around. It's Resurrection Day, folks. Easter Sunday. Sunday. Stay-at-home order. He didn't have a plow on his truck. What was this guy doing out here? Nobody is paying attention to the stay-at-home order, apparently, except for my employer, who's based in another state. And I'm paying the price for it. Watch my next video, please. It will show you why a computer model is not a good reason to shut down an economy and to destroy lives. Something that Governor Tim Walz should have researched for himself if he was truly a leader. Hope you all take care and have a wonderful, beautiful Resurrection Day. I hope you understand why we call it that and what the benefit of that is for you. Thank you so much for being here.